Most of us grew up hearing the same advice: eat more vegetables. But despite that message, the vast majority of people do not meet the recommended targets. In the United States, the average adult consumes only about 1 serving of fruit and 1.5 servings of vegetables per day. This shortfall exists despite clear international standards. The World Health Organization recommends a minimum of 400 grams of produce daily to help reduce the global burden of chronic disease. Meeting these targets is often framed as a simple matter of volume. This leads to the assumption that adding a small side salad to a processed meal or drinking a glass of juice is enough to reach the necessary threshold for health. Data from longitudinal studies tracking nearly 2 million participants suggests this broad approach is insufficient. The research indicates that the mortality benefits of plants are not uniform. They depend heavily on the specific types of food chosen. To understand how these foods actually influence lifespan, we have to look at 3 specific variables: the exact point where eating more produce stops providing a benefit, which specific vegetables fail to reduce risk, and how the rest of your diet can neutralize these effects. Reaching the full protective benefit of a plant-based diet requires a specific balance of quantity, quality, and dietary context. The evidence for this balance comes from a meta-analysis of 26 cohort studies. By aggregating data across diverse populations, researchers identified a clear relationship between intake and mortality risk. Data shows an optimal intake of 5 servings per day, 2 of fruit, 3 of vegetables. Here, all-cause mortality drops 13% and respiratory mortality 35%. Benefits plateau after 5. 6 or more servings offer no further increase in life expectancy. This plateau is likely due to biological saturation. The human body has a limited capacity to absorb and utilize beneficial compounds such as carotenoids and polyphenols. Once the metabolic pathways are full, additional intake provides no further protection. Because of this saturation point, the survival benefit effectively peaks at 5 servings. This suggests that for the average person, 5 daily servings is the most efficient evidence-based target for reducing mortality risk. Reaching that 5-serving target is only effective if the choices meet certain nutritional criteria. Not every food categorized as a fruit or vegetable contributes to these survival statistics. The categories consistently linked to lower mortality are green leafy vegetables, cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cauliflower, and fruits high in vitamin C and beta-carotene. These provide the fiber and antioxidants necessary for cardiovascular and respiratory health. In contrast, several commonly consumed plant foods show no significant association with reduced mortality. These include starchy vegetables, like peas and corn, white potatoes, and fruit juices. These foods lack the fiber found in whole produce and possess a high glycemic load. Because they are digested rapidly, they do not offer the same protective metabolic effects as non-starchy alternatives. Instead of stabilizing metabolic function, these high-starch choices cause rapid spikes in blood sugar and insulin. Over time, this can promote systemic inflammation rather than reducing it. Relying on potatoes or juices to meet dietary guidelines creates a discrepancy. You may reach the recommended volume, but you are not receiving the biological benefits associated with whole, non-starchy plants. Finally, the effectiveness of these 5 servings depends on the rest of the meal. Research in populations with high intakes of refined grains suggests that dietary context can alter how the body responds to vegetables. Consuming large amounts of refined carbohydrates, like white rice or white bread, increases the diet's overall glycemic load, which can lead to oxidative stress. This pro-inflammatory state can counteract the anti-inflammatory properties of fruits and vegetables. In studies of Japanese cohorts, the protective effect of vegetables was noticeably stronger in individuals who also maintained a lower intake of refined carbohydrates. Eating a healthy serving of vegetables alongside a large portion of refined starch creates a zero-sum effect. The physiological benefits of the plants are largely neutralized by the surrounding dietary pattern. Maximizing the health benefits of a diet requires more than just increasing plant volume. It requires a precise approach to food selection and meal structure. The most effective protocol involves hitting a daily target of 2 servings of whole fruit and 3 servings of non-starchy vegetables. To maintain the integrity of this habit, whole produce should be prioritized over juices and starchy vegetables. These should be paired with whole grains and lean proteins, rather than refined carbohydrates. In practical terms, this means consuming 400 to 500 grams of specific nutrient-dense whole foods every day. Following this specific 5-a-day protocol is a consistent, evidence-based method for reducing the risk of premature death and supporting long-term health.